50 years is a long time, and we've seen a lot of changes in the valley since 1958. I was only 7 years old then. Dwight Eisenhower was president, gasoline was about 20 cents a gallon, and the mission was just starting up on Capitol Boulevard. I'm Bill Roscoe, the director of the Boise Rescue Mission, and though I've only been at the mission since 2002, I've been blessed to know a lot of the people who started this work, and I've learned a lot about our history from them. This program is being sponsored by Jim Kistler from Norco, the Lyle Pearson Auto Group, and Craig Verdi at Verdi Wealth Planning, and we appreciate their help. We're also grateful to our friends at KTVB and to our friends at Mission Media for making this production possible. So I hope that you can relax and enjoy a walk down memory lane with us as we look back on 50 years of service and as we give thanks to God for what He has done to ensure that no one has to be homeless and hungry in this community and to ensure that the gospel is faithfully preached.
Before recovery, my life was really dark. It was pretty hopeless. I felt like I was really in a pit of despair most of the time.
My life was pretty much drinking every day. I had a large drug problem.
I wanted to be something I wasn't. I wanted to hang out in the streets. I wanted to have the lifestyle of the streets, the gang members, selling the drugs.
It's constant. It overtakes all your thoughts. How long is this high gonna last? Where's the next high coming from?
If something didn't change, I was either gonna be in prison the rest of my life, or I was gonna be dead somewhere.
My alcohol problem became out of control, and I was going to end up on the streets.
You know, Chris, for most people here in the Treasure Valley, life is pretty much normal. Go to work, come home, maybe soccer practice, dinner with the family.
You're so right, John, because most of life is pretty automatic. You get up, you do what you do every day, but that's not true for everybody.
Yeah, what, drug, alcohol addictions, things like that?
That's very true. If you have a drug or alcohol addiction, your life can be turned upside down.
There's a key word here. It's called hope, H-O-P-E.
You are so right. The Bible says that hope is the evidence of things not yet seen.
And that's what the Boise Rescue Mission is all about.
It is.
Bill, this alley here in downtown Boise has sort of a special meaning to you, doesn't it?
It does. When I came to Boise 6 years ago, John, I used to come to this particular alley and I'd find homeless guys camped out in this loading dock right here. It's where it begins for a lot of folks who end up at the rescue mission. They come into town, they don't have a place to go, they find another person who's homeless and say, "Where do you sleep?" And they end up in a place like this.
Yeah. Bill, what does this place mean to you?
Well, you know, all throughout the city of Boise, there's places like this where homeless folks congregate. Sometimes they sleep, sometimes they live. And it's important for me to get out here and find folks and share the good news of Jesus with them and tell them, hey, come on down to the rescue mission. We've got a better place for you. We've got some opportunity for some hope for you.
The guys who come into our program typically have made an absolute train wreck out of their lives. Their addictions have cost them their family relationships and put themselves in a position that they can't get out of on their own.
When I was on meth, my family was shocked. I was the straight-A student in high school. I was the one that was going to succeed, going to college. So when I fell into drug use, they all kind of didn't want anything to do with me.
I've been in and out of jail. Within a year, I was in and out of jail about 7 times. On the outside, the lifestyle seemed great, but on the inside, I was a zombie. I was dead.
I think I was about 12 or 13 when I first started using. My first drug was LSD. I know it seems like a really hardcore drug to start out on, but in the circle of people that I hung out with, that was the trendy thing to do.
I've seen a lot of deals going bad, and I've seen a lot of family members go down and not making nothing of their life, and I wanted something different in my life. I wanted to feel something different.
When I was using, my husband and I were very detached from one another. We completely separated ourselves from each other. And my son was kind of caught in the middle of that. He would be in front of the TV all day. I couldn't really get out of the basement long enough to do anything for him because meth is such a selfish addiction. I couldn't pull myself away from it long enough to have them be part of my life. So.
Did you think there was any way out?
No, I thought it was going to kill me. I was positive I was going to die.
There was kind of a strategic, significant period of time, a couple of months, when I really thought that we were losing her in every way.
When my family rejected me when I started using meth, I fell even deeper into my pit. I wanted to die even more. I felt like I had no one to turn to.
We fought for her. We fought for her in prayer. Fought for her life, really, because I really thought that it could really easily go either way, because that desire to live wasn't there.
I feel like I was in a pit of despair constantly. I had no hope.
And when that changed, it was none other than Jesus Christ, the power of Jesus Christ, that really came into her life, and she began to see that love and experience that love in her heart, and realize that there was more to life than she had ever known.
Many of those who come to the mission live day to day and hand to mouth. Our goal is to break these limiting patterns and help people see they can play an active part in their own destiny.
Yeah, you've heard the old expression, John, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I've heard that before, Bill.
Well, that's pretty much how we look at things at the rescue mission. It's one thing to give someone shelter and a hot meal, but it's quite another thing when you can teach that person how to make changes in their lives that will impact their lives from now on.
You know, Bill, everybody wants to feel like they're contributing to society instead of taking from society.
That's right. That's a natural human instinct, by the way. You know, a lot of people think homeless people have no ambition, no desire to change, no drive. And actually, John, they do. It's just been buried under a lot of stuff for a long time.
You know, I'm 54 years old. What the heck? I worked all my life. You know, until this last year. It's been a real tough year. For me to feel good about myself, I much rather work.
Bill, what is this conception that people choose to be homeless? I don't believe that.
Very few, John, very few. I mean, there are very few people out there who just soon camp on the river trail the rest of their lives as to come anywhere and be inside. But for the most part, people want to have a regular, ordinary life like John and Bill have. And that's really what we try to do at the mission. We try to help people to come to terms when they have issues with chemical dependency and alcoholism. Teach them how to stay sober. That's one of our curriculum that we use. In some cases to get a GED, and in other cases, like we've had recently, going over to Apollo College or Stephen Senegar College and graduating at the top of the class.
Yeah, and that equals into self-respect.
That's exactly right. Life looks a lot different when you've got a diploma in your hand and food in your belly.
Yeah. So what you're doing, Bill, is teaching people to fish.
That's exactly right, John.
Yeah.
And once they've learned how to fish, then this whole community is impacted in a really big positive way.
They say practice makes perfect, and while the rescue mission certainly doesn't think it's perfect, after 50 years of serving, they do have a good plan in place.
The original mission was started by 20 board members and called Christ's Gospel Mission. It opened its doors August 15, 1958.
Started out as a very small facility there on Capitol Boulevard.
Started in a little restaurant there in that area.
It was a small Chinese restaurant that they had, they made a chapel out at one side, and the other side there was a dining room. It was an old building. It was coal-fired. Every morning when we would come, we'd have to wash off our desk because it had coal dust on it, and before we could set the tables for the men to eat, we had to wash it.
By 1961, in a little more than 2.5 years, the mission had served over 3,200 meals, provided beds for thousands, and held services for 6,000 people. Since those early years and humble beginnings, the mission has served literally thousands of laid-off workers, seasonal workers, people with addiction problems, couples passing through looking for a better life, and even the ever-present neighbor in need of a helping hand.
We remember about a fellow that lived behind the mission in just a little cardboard hut. He would come to the mission.
He slept between two buildings, just covered with cardboard.
And he would come to the mission every night, stay for the meeting and for the food, and he'd go back to his little cardboard house. And I think eventually he did accept the Lord.
As the years have passed, the mission has learned and recognized the needs to go beyond the people's immediate physical and spiritual needs to train them for their future. With this forward-thinking mindset, the Boise Rescue Mission is building hope. What started 50 years ago as a desire to meet physical and spiritual needs has grown into a truly multifaceted operation. Its vocational education programs, adult education classes, mentoring programs, and the Learning Center, drug and alcohol programs are all helping on so many levels.
Women have unique problems and issues that require, well, unique solutions. The Boise Rescue Mission opened City Light in 2001, and since then hundreds of women have stepped into new and better lives. In 2003, City Light started its mentoring program, which brings the help and the hope to a higher level.
So being a mentor, what does that mean? What does a mentor do?
A mentor is a friend, somebody that comes alongside, confidant, prayer warrior, support system, good listener. We have 16 program ladies right now and 16 mentors, and we are a big part of these ladies' lives.
You're going to have someone that is going to spend time with you, that's going to help you better understand the Word of God, that is going to help you believe in yourself, and they help you grow spiritually, physically, and they show you lots of love.
I know that she cares about me, and that's nice. Because, you know, when you're neglected for so many years from your family, she sends me cards and little notes, and she'll call and leave messages for me that she's thinking about me, praying for me. It makes me feel honored.
They provide inspiration, guidance, unconditional love and friendship, and with the ears and the heart to listen to a woman that may be falling apart and be able to stand there and be that, just that wall of it will be okay.
We are a Christ-centered program here at City Light. Everything is biblically based and scriptural. Often we do Bible studies with our mentees, go to church together. So we do a lot of Christian Bible, prayer, mentoring.
Hello, my name is Craig Verdi. We oversee the financial matters of a select group of families and businesses. One service we provide is charitable planning, which is how we came to appreciate the Boise Rescue Mission. We're honored to be a part of this 50th anniversary celebration. Their service to those in need is close to our heart, and for this reason we support them on many levels. We invite you to consider the mission as a charitable means of giving back, and we also invite you to consider Verdi Wealth Planning to discover a level of service and advice that you never knew existed.
Lyle Pearson knows how to beat the summer heat. Lyle sells all kinds of cool sports cars.
Make that the coolest sports cars.
He's got a point.
It's summer all year long when you own one of these babies. So drop your top and take a ride on the wild side.
Lyle rocks.
Imagine there was a local company that cared more about its community and products than it did about profit margins or sales quotas. A company whose employees strive to make their products perfect. A company dedicating their existence so that you can breathe a little easier, stand a little taller, and move with the utmost of ease. There is a company who cares. Norco, serving you better.
John, you know, I like working in my garden. Would you like to help? Here you go.
I'd love to help. What do you...
You know, I'm planting these tomatoes.
Yeah?
Otherwise, you are not going to have salsa in the fall.
Oh, you're probably right there.
Yeah, but you know, John, one of the things which I learned in working with the plants is how people and the plants are alike.
Why are plants like people? Help me out.
If you put this plant in a place where it's not getting good water, it's strangled with weeds. If it's not, somebody is not putting it in a good soil, it becomes weak. And even if you try to get some fruits from it, you get nothing. And the people are just like that. If you look at some people, they have been brought up in an environment which does not give them opportunities to be who they can be.
People need to be nourished just like plants
yes.
need to be nourished.
If you put it in a good soil, this plant within a very short time 2 to 3 months, you start getting the best tomatoes. And the people, when they are put in a good environment, you'll be surprised how they do. And that's why I love the Boise Rescue Mission. We get people who have been in an environment where they don't use their talents. We get people where they're in an environment where they are strangled by maybe substance abuse, maybe rejection, some of them illnesses. But when you see those people go through the programs we have there, where there is love, where there is training, where there are some basic skills, you see them graduate.
Vincent, I know you're a family man. You've got obligations all over the state of Idaho, probably the Northwest. But what's it like for you to be a board member of the Rescue Mission?
Number one, I know how much I'm privileged to have the kind of life I have. And to be able to share what I have with others, it's a blessing. Remember, what we do for ourselves can get us by. What we do for others is what gets us ahead.
You know, Vincent likes dirt, likes growing things, and that's a great comparison to what we do at the mission. But my hobby's flying, and I really like to think of it as like the feeling I get from breaking loose of gravity and rising above the earth. I think that's what we help our guys at the rescue mission do. We're able to come alongside them and help them rise above it, and it also provides them with a whole new perspective on life. If they can just get above their situation and see what is really out there and really available to them, we see a lot of power in that. And I think that's what the mission does very well, is provide these guys with a new perspective, one that maybe they'd never thought of before.
What I like about this is I get an opportunity every day to help guys develop a closer relationship with the Lord and to rebuild their lives, get their lives back on track.
The Lighthouse was a major turning point in my life. It's opened my eyes to many opportunities that are out there and helped me to grow spiritually, mentally, and physically.
City Light helped me develop a tremendous relationship with the Lord. For me, that has opened a whole new world to me. I'm now concerned for the welfare of others. I have a heart for other people. I have a heart for giving. I want to see people set free.
I learn something every day from the meetings that we go to, the classes that we take. It's other people that drive me. I see progress through them, therefore I receive hope through other people.
I needed the structure and the discipline because I couldn't make it on my own, you know, with the drugs and alcohol. It's been my shelter, it's been my rock, it's like a family that I never had.
The joy that I am starting to feel and know that when I graduate from here, I will not be the same person and my life will be so filled with joy because I know I'm living for the Lord and I'm living how I'm supposed to be living. That is my light and I am so grateful.
I think it's given me the tools to be a success in life and to have a purpose and, you know, live a happy, normal lifestyle.
God has opened my eyes up to the truth. And the truth is there's a better way out there for us. And it's not with drugs and alcohol. It's living for God and loving others.
One of the things I've been learning here is to learn to love, is opening my heart and letting that God love flow through me and spill over onto everybody else. I mean, I never knew how to love. A few times in my life I thought I was in love. It was so counterfeit until I came here and learned about the real way.
I didn't feel like anybody was out there to help me. I thought everybody was against me. And now I realize there's a better life. There's a way better life. There's so much that God has planned for us.
I had plans to start a business to design clothing, and with this business I wanted to all the funding to go to victims of human trafficking. I would also like to employ them, teach them a new trade, help them gain their self-confidence and their dignity back.
I went to a trade school for welding, and I was only in there for maybe one semester. I just learned how to do stick welding. The decisions I made drew me from the school, so I didn't pursue it. And then another opportunity came at the lighthouse. I took it, I took advantage of it. Just say, without the lighthouse, I wouldn't be here right now. Without God, you know, directing me to the lighthouse, I wouldn't be here.
During the time that Christ was here, one of the main ways he cared for people was through meeting their immediate physical needs. He healed their wounds and diseases. He fed them, and then he told them how much he loved them. There's something about taking care of people's felt needs that opens their hearts to their spiritual needs. It also says, in a very tangible way, that they're loved.
How important is this job to you, like serving food here at the Rescue Mission? How important is this job?
Well, it's important because I feel like as a part of this community, I need to do my part. We all need to do our part to serve others, some of whom are less fortunate than us. I've been doing it about 4 years. I started out with my son as a school project, actually.
What kind of a gratification do you get out of it?
I've seen the Lord change lives here at this place, and so I think it's important to encourage the guys to get their lives together, go out and be productive parts of the community.
You know, Craig, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Sure
Changing
is.
lives.
That's right.
So it was 1 year during Thanksgiving that I went down and served the meal and washed the pots and pans and cleaned it up. Oh, I guess it was a year or two later that Lori and I went and served at Christmas time as well. I can tell you that in both our cases, it made a big difference in our life. Obviously, it provides food and nourishment for the body, but it also provides something for the spirit. It was a very memorable experience for Lori and I, and it enriched our lives, and we hope that it enriched theirs. I believe it did.
Our troop comes to the rescue mission once a month, and we serve food. It teaches them to give back to the community. Part of the scouting program is to do community service, and that's one of the ways that they earn their rank. But it goes a lot beyond just earning rank. It's learning to give to your community, to help other people out.
It's fun. I feel really good about doing it, about helping our community and serving our community.
With the help of so many volunteers, the work is getting done. The truth is, everyday assistance from people all over our community is what makes the difference. The needs are great, but so are the rewards.
The idea about bringing Toastmasters to the New Life program was to just help the guys increase their self-confidence, their self-esteem, their communication skills. It's a real blessing to have the opportunity to come out and meet with the guys and have an opportunity to pour into their lives encouragement and be an example to them of how to speak well and how to communicate well, and just see them grow.
And the saying, many hands make light work, is a living fact for the Boise Rescue Mission. The hundreds of people that give of their time and money throughout the year is critical to our success.
Our learning center has teachers that come in from the University of Phoenix and from the Northwest Nazarene University that help tutor guys in math and English, reading.
I first found out about this need that people had to go through recovery and get their GED and their adult basic education, and decided that was something I really wanted to be a part of. And honestly, these are some of the best students I've ever had. They're aware of the mistakes that they've made in the past, but they are very eager to pick up where they left off. They want to get their GED, they want to move on from there. Some are thinking seriously about college. And it's just exciting to be a part of an effort to help get them back on track, to encourage them, to build them up.
As we've said before, teaching a person how to take care of themselves creates positive ripples in a number of areas, not the least of which is self-esteem and dignity. The board of directors and leaders recognize that providing opportunity for their guests is one of the keys to breaking unhealthy cycles.
For a lot of the men that come into the New Life program or the work transition programs, the Next Step apartments are the first time they've really had their own place in their life.
It's been a while since I had my own place. I mean, it lets me know that I can do it again. This apartment's like the beginning of my new life that God's given me. Well, compared to where I came from, having my own place, I came from always looking for the back door, always prepared to leave, prepared to move, prepared to get kicked out. So having my own place, it's it's comforting because I'm doing it on my own.
You know, Reverend Bill, talking about Carlos. Carlos talks about this place as if it's home, you know, and to a lot of people, they take home for granted.
I think those of us who've had a home for most of our lives, who grew up in a regular family environment, do take home for granted. But for a guy like this is really the first time in his life he's had his own place where he doesn't have a bunch of roommates coming and going. And it really is a special and unique time for him.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even understand what that's all about.
Life is really chaotic for fellows like this when they're out there in the world and they're in that whole drug and alcohol scene. And people come and go out of their lives all the time, and there's no stability. And in fact, you know what? You have to teach these fellows how to keep a house because they really don't know that. You teach them to vacuum, teach them to go out and buy groceries, the simple kinds of things. But he's getting it.
I bet it's something that's kind of humbling, too, in a certain way, to where you finally have found yourself and you found your home.
I think that's true, and certainly this is one humble guy. You know, when he graduated from the program, he went right into welding school, and he learned to weld pretty quickly, even though he didn't have a lot of self-confidence. It took a lot of work from our instructor's point of view, but he learned quickly. He went out and got a really good job right away, and then he came right back in and started helping in welding school as a volunteer. And any major event we have, you'll see Carlos there. He'll be setting up chairs and taking down tables and working and doing whatever he needs to do.
What's the next step for Carlos?
The next step for Carlos will be to move out of this apartment into his really own place and to live life to the fullest, as the Bible tells us we ought to.
From the mission's humble beginnings back in the late 1950s to today, with its highly effective mentoring and job placement programs, the Boise Rescue Mission has grown with the times to become more effective at meeting the needs of its guests. But growth is not always easy, and change, although ultimately good, can be costly.
One of the things that's been constant around the rescue mission for over 50 years is change. From the director going through the neighborhoods of the community and picking up coal in a sack to fire the furnace, to recent change where we actually sold the Front Street building where we had our mission headquarters for 37 years and buying and moving into the community house on River and 13th Street. That change has been a wonderful, wonderful change for the ministry, and especially wonderful for the people that we serve. 34,000 square feet of building that was built to be a shelter has really made us able to serve people better than ever before. And the new kitchen and dining room that you folks from this community helped us to build last year has just revolutionized our food services. We're serving more meals now than ever before, and in the first quarter of 2008, we served twice as many meals as we did in the first quarter of 2007. If you can believe it, over 800 meals a day are being served in our dining room just in the Treasure Valley. So we appreciate the help, we appreciate the encouragement, the prayer, the support that we've received from all of you folks in this community for 50 years. And we really look forward to working 50 more years, not just to provide meals, not just to provide shelter, not just to send people to Apollo College and Stevens Henniger College and Boise State University, but to get people right with God, to help people know that Jesus is the Christ, and to go on living life to the fullest, as the Bible tells us that we ought to do. So thank you for your help. God bless you, and we look forward to the next 50 years.
We hope we've given you a little insight on what the Boise Rescue Mission is all about.
It's a great place to give and make good friends. 50 years is a long time.
50 years. 50 years of hope, 50 years of commitment, 50 years of helping people turn their lives around. And with your help, there'll be another 50 years for the Boise Rescue Mission.
Thank you for taking time to watch our program today, and thank you for making this work possible for the last 50 years. We really appreciate Jim Kistler of Norco, the Lyle Pearson Auto Group, and Craig Verdi and Verdi Wealth Planning for making this film possible. I hope that you've been inspired by what you've seen, and if you have been and you want to come alongside of us, please take a moment, call the number on the screen, or visit our website to see how you can help. As a ministry that's completely supported through the donations of the community, we depend on you and we need your help. Thank you again for watching our program today, and as we move on into the next 50 years, we want to say thanks to God for His goodness and His generosity to us. No one in this valley needs to be homeless and hungry because God cares, you care, and we're here to serve.